speaking, many are afraid of it, some are not. When I think about it, I'm not really afraid of it. It just, I guess, depends on the topic or what I have to do, if I get nervous at all. I actually remember a project in 8th grade, I would say, so middle school. I had to do a presentation on World War II in front of the class, and I did mine specifically on the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I wasn't nervous like doing the project, I was just nervous reciting it, mainly because it was about our history, so it looks bad if you mess it up, obviously. For one thing I always try to do is be professional any time of the day nowadays because, well, one, you never know who you're going to meet. If that person knows somebody or be the lead person, like the lead animator, for instance, at Disney, they can know that lead animator or be that lead animator themselves. So if you're not professional or they take you off as like somebody that's rude, they can make or break you on getting the job if you want to work there, obviously. In this class, I would say I even still had so much trouble on it, but in the beginning, I had trouble keeping eye contact. During week 2, I seemed, at least to me, have trouble keeping knowledge and showing that I had knowledge of my TED Talk video. Week 3, I just probably had trouble with technology and just software editing issues. Now, I would say I'm not perfect, but I worked through the best, obviously, I possibly could in these areas. I would say that for this class, I learned how to make more visually appealing projects. I mean, I already had a good foundation from like my understudies at like middle, high school, that type of stuff. And I also took like business classes in high school, so I kind of knew already how to from my business teacher, Mr. Latham, actually, his name was. That reminds me of a story that actually in 10th grade, for some like criminal justice type class, I had to do a PowerPoint and I actually got yelled at because, well, not really yelled at, but I lost points because I didn't have enough information. I had like the bullet points, which I what I thought it was supposed to have, but for some reason she wanted like paragraphs or something. I still like told a story through my presentation, but it just seemed like it wasn't good enough, which I still found it pretty strange. But it's just kind of like whatever, I guess. It was over and done with. But I would think now that I still can create good presentations with enough information to get my point across, as well as the images to show what it looks like, and also help get my point across. I admit in my first video I was kind of nervous because I didn't know how people would perceive me as a person, or how my teacher would perceive me as a person. And even though I'm outgoing, sometimes I feel awkward trying to present myself for grading, I guess you could say. But in general, people are going to judge you, so I guess I shouldn't be really kind of weirded out about that. But I don't know, it's just kind of strange in my opinion, but I think I will get over it after a few more years probably. I think overall my classmates seemed to like what they saw from me, and I like what they saw from them. I did get a lot of feedback that I could possibly use in the future and help be the best I can be later on. My advice I gave them, again, like I said, was good and bad, which constructive criticism, which always helped with them. And I feel like they understood where I was coming from. And I always delivered my former messages in written posts instead of videos because I felt like they would more likely look at these posts compared to an actual video and take the time to actually look at a video. One things I always did see was, which most people have in common, which I still even have trouble with today, is keeping eye contact. And obviously with seeming nervous when they deliver their post. For these assignments, I try to practice for at least a few days my videos and before I actually did my final project because it would always help you out, obviously, if you practice more and more. I admit last week's assignment I had to post directly from Final Cut because for some reason, I don't know, I just had trouble with that uh, video for some reason. Like it wouldn't upload to any video uploading site, and I even admit I had trouble somewhat exporting it from Final Cut for some reason as well. I don't really know why. It just kind of being buggy for some reason to me, and like it took longer than it was supposed to. To get through it, I guess I just had to just work through it and just go along with it, I guess. Um, I really enjoyed for the projects that we had to do. I really enjoyed the TED Talks video. I mean, because I got to make a PowerPoint, and I like doing PowerPoints. That type of stuff's kind of fun to me. I would say I really didn't like last week's video, not because of the topic, but because of the issues I was having with it. For some reason, like I said, I was having some software editing issues for some reason. I still do not know. And I would say that was about it as far as like projects and I liked and didn't like. If I would have to rate myself of how I gave my presentations this month and presented my presentations and my topics this month, I would say I would give myself either a 3 or 4 because again, there's always room for improvement, and I know I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I would just also like to say thanks to this class, I think that I've conquered my public speaking fears somewhat. And like I told you before, I try not to rely so much heavy on notes and just always just try to speak from the heart whenever I present any project, whether it's for professional or for class.